Yo guys, no webcam today, but I want to show you guys the new BusyWorks Beats AI Mastering 5. So basically what we're doing is, in this track, it's a Wiz Khalifa reference. Now we do have a button that says AI Master. You want to play this during the loudest part of your song. So this is called, one-click mastering in this case. So let's go to the loudest part of this track. Which is right here. And then we're going to hit AI Master. It will listen to the song and then set the settings for you guys. So it's a little loud for my ear. I'm just going to pull it back a little bit, and you guys can even take this louder, but I recommend just to keep it, somewhere around the middle, unless you're purposely trying to just go crazy. All right, let's turn up the width on this track to add some bass. And if you're more advanced, you can go to these other tabs to mess with stuff. We've added a new mid-side compressor. So you guys, for those who know what this is, we could target, for example, just the middle image and turn this amount up. So it keeps the stereo width intact. You guys can mess with all the limiters under the limiter tab. And then under master, we now have, again, the same mid-side here. Transformer. So I'm going to exaggerate so you guys can hear. It's just adding, I'll say, a rounded harmonic if I had to describe it. And then we have an excite area where you guys can mess with these settings as well. But for now, pretty much everything lives on the front panel. Unless you're a music producer who specifically wants to tweak stuff, rarely are you leaving this front panel. So here's before. Here's after. So we'll wait for the vocals to come in and then turn it back on. So here's before. Now let's say you guys think this track is too bright. We have a high clean area. So the clean knob, you guys could just turn this up. But for specifically high frequencies, so for high frequency specifically, I've added a high clean knob. So you guys can just target the super brightness. So here's before. Another knob that's great for beats that are a little too muddy on the side is called clarity. Now this beat is not very muddy on the side image for those who even know what that is, but you guys can mess with this clarity knob as well. So again, here's before. And we were clipping before. Now here's after. All right, so let's go to a different track. Here we have a hip hop track, and what the cool thing about BusyWorks Beats AI Mastering 5 is it's built by a music producer, myself. And the cool thing about it is that you guys don't always have to just slam into all these knobs. You can get really specific about how you want to mix. So for example, this hip hop track, as soon as you turn on analog, it adds a dimension to the sound without doing anything. So as I turn it on and off, you guys will feel the energy difference. Here's before. Here's after. So let's use these simple knobs on the front. Here's before. And again, if you guys want to get more hands-on, you can click on these tabs to go to different areas. So the compressor, we're going to turn this up. Put it on mid mode so it doesn't affect the side keyboard. sometimes in hip hop you want to maintain those dynamics, so you can turn off the limiters. You don't always have to have those on. The only thing is you're going to be clipping, so in this case we need at least 2 limiters. Let's just have 2 limiters here. You can also reference different environments, so let's switch this over to now we can hear how the mix translates quickly without doing too much. Alright, now let's move to this tab where we can go deeper with the different analog characteristics. I could add more knock to the middle with this drive knob here. Okay, here's before. Pull back the compression. And we didn't even touch the British console modes and all the different harmonic structures that we have. We also have vintage drum machines here as well, so there's still more we can add to this, but for this I don't want to overkill, but I'm just going to turn up the British console just to see if it adds anything to this track. Here's before. Let's solo the drums just so we can hear. Here's before. We get much more character out of the drum here. We could really take it further, but I guess my point is it's not just a simple mastering tool that just does one thing. You guys can get more granular depending on what kind of mix you guys are going for. So you don't always have to just rely on just these 4 easy buttons or the quick AI master button. That just helps you guys get straighter to the point. Okay, let's open up a different project. So let's try this track here. You guys can even hear it on my voice here. Or actually, oh yeah, this is stereo out, so you guys can hear it on my voice. So here's before, and then here's after. It just adds just harmonics and a nice dimension to it. So what we're going to do is turn this on. Again, it says version 4 because I didn't change the interface just yet. And then we're on version 5 though. So this will be released by this weekend here. So here's before. Instantly adds that dimension. Let's widen out this track. Add some bass. Let's make it louder. Let me move this plugin over to the actual beat mix, that way it's not affecting my voice. So now we can hear it just on the music. And again, we can go deeper. So for example, we've added a compressor that does mid-side compression now. So if you guys want to get more granular, you can, for example, the mid is a nice subtle way to add compression on the master channel. And it's in parallel, so it's very subtle. We can even go to the analog mode, switch the transfer, and then let's go to the mid signal. So here's before. I'm waiting for the drums to kick in, so let's skip ahead a little bit. All right, now we can push the loud and it's a little bit heavier because now we have drums. Here's before. You can feel the big energy difference in the beat. This tool does more than just master songs and, you know, master AI music. It can also be applied to beats. It can be applied to vocals. It can be applied to literally everything you guys want it to be applied to, even drums. So let me switch over to FL Studio to show you guys other stuff we can apply this to. So the reason I used the Logic Pro first was because on a Mac, Logic Pro just sounds way better in my opinion than FL Studio. So that's why I started there first, so you guys can hear the most pure sound. Now we're in FL Studio. On Mac, it's a little bit different than PC, in my opinion. So here's the vocal. Firstly, we have the Pro G from FabFilter just cleaning up background noise. Then we have Pro Q3 just taking out some of this AC hum. So that's the only thing we've done beforehand. Let's open up the BusyWorks Beats AI Mastering 5 just to show you guys you can apply this to vocals. So again, if you want to do the easy thing, just hit AI Master. Then we'll listen to the song and then turn up the levels for you. Now because this is a vocal and it's very dynamic, it's gonna probably overjump for most vocals, so just pull back the loud level.
The hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South.
Let's widen this out.
The hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip hop, the West to get back again.
We can even apply the clean knob, which is more for, again, it was built for AI vocals to clean them up because they're so harsh. But you guys can apply this to human vocals.
The hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white.
And there is an auto clean button, so you click this.
From a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African.
It will set the settings for you. Now, again, this is by ear and taste, so there's no magical thing. Just turn it up until you like it.
The hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian.
But the more you turn this up, the more we're sacrificing some quality. So funny enough, this is at 8 when I had this at 32. So it just shows you guys can push this knob pretty far.
The hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking.
Now let's go to the compressor mode, and I turn this off by default because not every song needs compression. So here, for example, we're gonna crank this up.
The hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip hop, the West to get back again. In a low rider, gold dating, spokes by it's me. I'm the ghost rider, more paper, more fire.
All right, so I don't really mess with the stuff under the advanced tab as much anymore. I usually do stuff under the master tab. And we can mess with, again, the analog style here using the transfer curves. So let's switch.
The hood fresh from a lot of the
this is basically adding the density, I'll say, or the aggression to the middle.
The hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip hop, the West to get back again.
And not mandatory, we're
the
just
hood fresh from a
adding different analog.
The hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip hop, the West to get back.
So here's before.
In a low rider, gold dating, spokes by it's me. I'm the ghost rider, more paper, more fire. But it's one.
And again, we could crank the loud knob even further if you guys.
The hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African.
To get that like compressed sound. But what I like to do is just level this.
The hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip hop, the West to get back again. In a low rider, gold dating, spokes by it's me.
Now this is, you know, I usually don't make vocals sound this squashed, but I'm just showing you guys how far we can push this.
The hood fresh from a lot of the.
Let's see how high we can get this.
The hood fresh from a lot of.
So once you get past 60-ish,
the hood fresh from.
It switches on a thing that makes it more buzzy because now we're clipping.
The hood fresh from a lot of the traffic.
So basically anywhere around 50% and below.
The hood fresh from a lot of the trafficking. Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me. I'm the ghost rider, more paper, more fire. But it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm inspired. The hood fresh.
So again, here's before.
Serve white, brown, Asian, and African. The South took hip-hop, the West took it back again. In a low rider, gold dating spokes by it's me. I'm the ghost rider, more paper, more fire. But it's one nation under the empire. And I'm up chasing dough like I'm inspired.
So I'm just showing you guys this stuff works on vocals, drums, songs, your beats. Let's try to find one more. Let's do some stuff on the AI music just to show you guys. Again, this applies to a lot of stuff. All right, so here we have some AI samples. I was just comparing human music to AI stuff and just to see where this plugin could really have its advantage. So once you kind of set it, you can really just apply it to other songs. The only thing you got to be careful of or aware of is just headroom, meaning instead of slamming into the plugin with all this volume, it's probably best you guys start by turning your stuff down. That's the only rule I'll say most of the time. All right, so here's before. Here's before. See how just turning it on, you feel that bass? Here's before. Here's after. Let's widen this mix. Add a little bass. And again, we have that easy button, the one-click mastering. If you just click AI Master, it will listen to your, it would find a loudness target for you guys. Let's click it. You want to play this during the loudest part of your song. And then you guys can turn this up or turn it down. Again, there's an auto clean feature. So let's turn that on. So now here's before. Here's after. And technically we could push this more aggressively. So let's turn this up even more. This is probably as far as I would push the sound. Here's before. Here's after. Alright, so it's more than just a volume jump because that's what most people say to try to like dissuade you guys against this plugin. What I'll do to prove that is we're going to turn up the original up to 0, and then we're going to A/B these real quick. I'm not going to make this a whole test. Okay, so here's the second one without the mastering on it. So now we're just listening to the original. So we're going to turn this all the way up to 0. Turn it up a little bit more, about 2 more dB. Let's try. So we're going to compare that with our master. So I'm going to switch back and forth using a blind test. Let's just, basically we won't be able to tell which is which. Okay, so this will be a fair assessment. Now I'll switch. This one's very quiet. This one's like way louder. It's not even like fair. This one is like way louder. Okay, so let's see which one that is, and that is track number 2. sure this. Oh, my fault, yo. That was okay. My fault. I had the plugin turned off. So let's do this again. So I'm just showing you guys this is a real test because anybody else would have edited that out. Just showing you guys I'm for real. All right, so let's randomize this. That was my fault. I didn't turn the plugin on.
So unique, so unique, so unique, so unique. You fill me up.
So here's version 1. This one has way more dimension. Holy moly. It's like we're in the song.
Touching my skin.
Not even close. When you listen, that's why I like the A/B test and do blind tests, because you guys aren't influenced by anything on the screen. It's just sound. And then you have to say, okay, which sounds better? It's almost like the blind test for like Pepsi and all that. So let's do this again just to show you guys from a different section of the song.
Alien. You're so unique, you fill me up. Touching my skin. Feel you through every single touch. Just in your pen. Writing my love story ever much. Deep in my skin. Feeling that has never risen up. One in a million. You're so unique, you fill me up.
So there's a clear difference. One has way more dimension, way more dynamic. All right, so now let's click the show tracks button, and clearly V5 is the one we were testing here. That's what we heard as the one that was like, it was like we stepped into the song. It's like we were hearing the song at first, but then we stepped into the song. And that's what my plugin does at busyworksbeats.com/AI mastering. It just puts you in the actual song as if you're just vibrating along with the song. So that is for the people who always ask me to level match. Okay. For those who even understand what that is. Okay. So now let's just apply this to different songs. We're not going to A/B test anymore because that just takes up a lot of time. So now let's go to version 5. And you guys see I have the same settings, and you don't really need to change much. When you have good mastering, for example, I had a commercial studio with outboard gear, and when you have good gear, you don't need to change it a lot. So if you find yourself changing a ton of stuff, it might be genre specific. But in reality, like when you have good gear, you rarely touch it. I had a mentor, Ron Silvestro out of Philly. He had an 1176 blue-faced compressor, and they literally marked it where you keep the knobs. You never move it from those specific points because it's just that good at that specific point. So the same thing with this plugin. It's like once you hit AI Master, you don't really need to touch a bunch of stuff unless you want to get a very specific sound.
Has never risen up, one in a million. You're so.
And again, the main thing to focus on here, guys, is not the plugin, it's the input volume. So just turn your stuff down going into this plugin because it works differently when you turn it down.
Risen up, one in a million. You're so unique, you feel me.
So again, here's before.
Touching my skin, feel you through every single touch. Just in your pen, writing my love story ever much. Deep in my skin, feeling that has never risen up, one in a million. You're so unique, you fill me up.
So night and day difference, guys. So again, let me show you guys one more track. Now we're focusing on AI tracks because again, this plugin initially was built to clean up AI samples because I like to sample AI stuff, and it just had a lot of sibilants and stuff in it. So I initially built this to clean those samples up. Funny enough, we ran an experiment and they started tricking the AI music detectors. That was never an intent of the plugin. We actually just discovered that by accident. So then we pushed the plugin further and further and started making this a mixing tool, and then it turned into a mastering tool. So it pretty much is everything all in one. So let's run this back. And I'm showing you guys how I'm not changing the settings, and it applies to almost every sample that we pulled up so far. Here's before.
Where you are.
as before. Now let's turn it back on.
Where you are.
Telling you guys, man, this thing is beyond a beast. We even compared this against the world's top online mastering tools and AI mastering tools, and you guys will be surprised with those results. If I remember, I'll leave a link below. I'm probably going to forget, to be honest, but if I remember, just go to my channel, youtube.com/busyworksbeats, and look for yourself. So the results speak for itself. Go to busyworksbeats.com/AI mastering, and version 5 will be out by this weekend. So I want to thank you guys. Peace.